Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, neighbors are preparing to share their ideas on how to revive the historic Thelma A. Bolton Center. The resources Gainesville leaders plan to pour into the dilapidated building.
Governor Ron DeSantis' executive order is encouraging Floridians to enjoy the great outdoors, the new way you can take advantage of the state's natural resources. Julia?
Sunny and cool, but not for long. I'll let you know when we'll warm back up.
First at 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News First at 5. I'm Alexa Herrera.
And I'm Chris Will. Thanks for joining us. City leaders are looking for the community's input in revitalizing the Thelma A. Bolton Center. It's been falling apart for years, but earlier this year, the City Council voted to provide millions of dollars for its restoration.
WUFT's Daniella Rudolph is live at the site of tonight's community input session. Daniella, leaders are looking for ideas to help with the project.
Thanks, Chris and Alexa. You are exactly right. Ideas are wanted. I'm at the historic Thomas Center for the Arts, where in less than 1 hour, members of the community will be meeting here. The Bolton Center was once a bright and vibrant event spot for U.S. Air Force service members. Many would come to enjoy the festivities, including Tom Petty. The last renovation happened more than 23 years ago. The Gainesville City Commission approved another renovation in 2019. However, a roof collapse in 2020 further compromised structural integrity. The Historic Preservation Board previously voted to restore the auditorium. This meeting will go into more depth on future efforts to preserve the center. We will update you as soon as more information becomes available. Again, that meeting begins at 6 tonight. Live from the historic Thomas Center for the Arts, Daniella Rudolph, WUFT News.
Thanks, Daniella. Gainesville will face a third state audit over GRU debt and financial decision-making. The partisan vote for another follow-up came at the end of a meeting yesterday of JLAC, the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee. Mayor Harvey Ward also came under fire over a delay in the recent borrowing by GRU. When the deal was finally locked up, it ended up costing nearly $3 million extra.
We were in the process of putting together a debt plan. You all were in the process of discussing a sea change to the way in which we operate. I did not believe that it was prudent or honest for us to represent to lending agencies exactly where we were, because we did not know exactly where we were.
The current follow-up audit found GRU debt to be almost exactly where it was the first time, around $1.8 billion.
An Ocala man will spend the next 50 years behind bars for a 2021 murder. The judge handed down the sentence to 20-year-old Brandon Moritsier Monday. Back in June, Moritsier was found guilty of shooting and killing 18-year-old Kobe Bradshaw in Ocala Park Estates. Moritsier was 17 at the time of the murder.
Deputies in Marion County are investigating a murder-suicide after finding a man and woman dead inside a home. Investigators say last night they responded to a well-being check at the home on Southwest 20th Lane when they discovered the man and woman. They are not releasing the identities until their families are notified. The sheriff's office stresses that this incident is not related to the double murder that happened on Sunday.
Deputies in Marion County have identified the 2 victims murdered over the weekend. Investigators say 32-year-old Kevin Russell and 60-year-old Sandy Bodman were found shot and killed in a home in the Whispering Sands community Sunday morning. Detectives are working to piece together what led to their deaths. If you have any information about this crime, you're asked to call the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
We have all enjoyed the cool down for the last couple days, but now temperatures are warming up. WFT's forecaster Julia Haley shows us just how long the warm weather is going to last. Julia?
Yeah, Chris, sunny skies, and we saw those cooler temperatures. Perfect to put on a jacket and just get outside, also enjoy that sun. Currently sitting at 70 degrees, feels just a little bit cooler though because we are drier with those clear skies on our radar. And your temperature sitting in the 70s, 70 for Gainesville, 69 Ocala, and even 69 for Lake City. And also for your hour by hour, we're dropping from the 60s into the 40s, but not breaking any records quite yet. And coming up, we'll talk about those rain chances that are increasing and talk about some highs that are rising.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed an executive order to cut costs of state park passes and hunting and fishing licenses by 50%. WUFT's Samantha Sydeski explains the discounted rates available.
The particular executive order you are referring to is known as the Great Outdoors Initiative. The idea behind it is for Floridians to get outside more.
It's more affordable for families to enjoy the great outdoors. Prices are cut in half for the next 90 days.
I love that they're doing the 50% off on the licenses because it's going to get so many more young kids into it and people in general, and I just think it's a very great thing.
An individual annual pass for Florida state parks is now $30 plus tax, while an annual Gold Sportsman license is available for $50.75.
I'm here at Devil's Millhopper Geological State Park, which is one of 7 state parks that we have here in Alachua County. Licenses are now 50% off for the next 90 days. However, not everyone is happy about that.
A local tackle shop owner sees the positives and negatives of it, but he believes he falls on the side you'd least expect.
Fishing license revenue strictly goes to FWC, and I don't think there's any room for it to be lessened.
Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission Chairman Rodney Barreto said in a statement, "I encourage families to take advantage of this incredible offer with a discounted license and enjoy the abundant hunting and fishing recreational opportunities our state offers." Florida has 175 state parks, trails, and historic sites. It supports more than 50,000 jobs.
In part of Governor Ron DeSantis' statement, he says, quote, he encourages all Floridians to get outdoors, experience our extraordinary natural resources, and enjoy our fundamental right to hunt and fish. The initiative started on Saturday, and you have until January 13th to get that discount. In the studio, Samantha Sydeski, WUFT News.
Governor Ron DeSantis is asking for Floridians' help to bring Americans back home from Israel. The call comes after the governor's executive order mobilized state resources to charter flights for Americans. They're seeking to get back stateside due to the violence between Israeli leaders and Hamas. Governor Ron DeSantis is asking Floridians if they know someone who is unable to leave Israel to visit floridadisaster.org/Israel to reach out. In addition to that, the governor is sending medical supplies, hygiene products, and clothing and toys to Israel to help impacted families. Controversial political commentator Ben Shapiro will be speaking at UF tomorrow. The UF Young Americans for Freedom posted on Instagram that he will be speaking at the Phillips Center Wednesday night at 7. The Young Americans for Freedom group received a little more than $10,000 from the Student Government Budget Committee to host Shapiro. The committee does not have a say in the speakers chosen.
Parents and guardians who'd like a chance to speak on the school rezoning plans can do so tonight at the Alachua County Public School Board meeting. The school board is holding a series of meetings and community input sessions before the new zones are finalized. They are expected to finalize in December and will take effect for the 24-25 school year. Tonight's rezoning board workshop will take place tonight at 6 in the district office boardroom on University Ave. And coming up next on First at 5, school safety is top of mind for state lawmakers heading into the next legislative session.
How they're working to make sure another mass shooting like the one in Parkland doesn't happen again. That and more when we come back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. Schools are preparing to carry out a Florida model of assessing threats to school safety as new requirements are slated to come online in January. Today, members of the House Education Quality Subcommittee heard a presentation about requirements approved during the legislative session that ended in May. Florida schools currently use a national system called the Comprehensive School Threat Assessment Guidelines, but will soon switch to a new threat management system. Teams will be at every school and at the district level. They must include a teacher, an administrator, and a law enforcement officer, and a mental health professional. The new system will require that all school districts use the same online platform, which involves sharing information about threat management. The Pinellas County Sheriff is the chairman of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Commission, which was created after the 2018 mass shooting where 17 students and faculty members were killed.
It is going to happen again. Gonna. History tells us that. The question is when and where. But the ultimate question is, what are we doing differently today to drive a different outcome than what we were doing previously? That's the real question.
Sheriff Gualtieri told the House panel that 46 districts currently use 12 different software systems, while another 21 districts use pen and paper. He feels the consolidated online system will be a game changer for sharing information and managing threats.
Arts and culture in Alachua County brings millions of dollars to the local economy. The nonprofit Americans for the Arts released a study of almost 400 communities across the country. According to the report, there were 2.4 million visitors to cultural organizations in Alachua County. These visitors generated almost $190 million in economic activity. Alachua County recognizes just how important arts and culture are to local communities.
You know, the arts are, in the view of, I think, the County Commission, are not a luxury, they're a necessity. I mean, they are part of what makes life worth living.
These organizations support almost 3,000 jobs and generate over $33 million in tax revenue. Arts and culture also boosts tourism, with 57% of attendees coming from out of town. The full results of this survey can be found at americansforthearts.org.
In Suwannee County, FEMA has opened at the new location of their Disaster Recovery Center today. The new location is the Memorial Field at the Douglas Center. That's on Ontario Avenue in Live Oak. If you're in need of help recovering from Hurricane Daniella, you can find a range of services, including help from the Small Business Association. The Recovery Center will be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
The Citrus County Sheriff's Office is participating in this month's National Drug Take-Back Day. They will have 3 locations at the Walmarts in Homosassa, Lecanto, and Inverness. You can safely dispose of unwanted prescription drugs. National Drug Take-Back Day will be held on Saturday, October 28th.
We saw sunny skies, and those highs today sat in the 70s and even the 60s in some places. I'll let you know how long this weather will last on the other side of the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
May have felt a little chilly in Gainesville, but we haven't hit a record quite yet. Our Tuesday high 71 degrees, coolest high 66 degrees. Outside, seeing those 70s and even starting to drop into the 60s. 70 for Stark and even Gainesville, 67 even for Lake City. But this is an increase from what we saw yesterday, so we're starting to get just a little bit warmer. Clear skies on our radar, not much really happening, so it's a sunny day. It's a great evening to get outside, and you see that outside of our studio with those sunny skies. We're staying cool and sunny, but we're dropping with those lows in the upper 40s, so it's definitely jacket weather, especially if you're planning on maybe even taking a run tomorrow morning. So 45 for Gainesville, 45 even for Ocala, and 43 for Lake City. Still not hitting any records quite yet, but we're getting there, and we're seeing that chance for fog visibility starting to drop in Gainesville and even Lake City, also in Jacksonville. And for your Wednesday, warming up from those 40s, 30 degrees into the 70s, the mid 70s with those sunny skies overall, and we're expecting this high pressure system right here to give us those sunny skies. But also, as this high pressure system moves, we'll get some easterly winds, which is going to give us some showers, especially along the east coast and the first coast. But we'll have a cold front move in a little bit later during the week. So this week we are staying cool, and not only that, but those lows are going to sit in those below normal and those below average temperatures, especially here in Gainesville, 45, 54, 56, and even 58. So continuing to stay very cool, especially if you're planning on getting up early in the morning these next few days. And for your tropical outlook, we are currently tracking this system, which has a possibility to become Tammy, but not quite yet, as we are waiting for more hurricane updates from the National Hurricane Center. And for your 7-day outlook, sunny skies for your Wednesday, rising into the 80s by Thursday. That chance for clouds is also going to give us that chance for some isolated thunderstorms on your Friday, with those highs sitting in the 80s once again, dropping down after we watch watch another cold front pass. And on Saturday, sunny skies overall, and into the weekend, seeing that sun lasting, temperatures rising throughout the rest of your next week into the upper 80s. So watch out as we are changing from our jackets into some more short sleeves. Back to you.
Coming up on WFT News, the SEC released their men's basketball preseason media poll, and one Gator received a very high honor. After the break, I'll be talking about this player and what the media is saying about the Gators with the season opener less than 3 weeks away.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome into sports. I'm Bradley Shimel. The SEC released their men's basketball preseason media poll earlier today, and one Gator received some serious praise. Sophomore Riley Kugel was named to the preseason All-SEC second team after a breakout freshman season. Kugel finished last season on a very strong note, earning SEC Freshman of the Week honors during the last week of the regular season. He had the option of going pro, but chose to return to the Gators for some unfinished business. And speaking of the Gators, they were picked to finish 8th in the SEC preseason media poll. Florida will look to surpass these expectations as they tip off their season on November 6th against Loyola, Maryland. As you can tell by my turtleneck, it's getting a little chilly across north central Florida, but the high school volleyball playoffs are heating up. Last night, the first round of the district playoffs tipped off with lots of great matchups on the schedule. In the 4A District 5 bracket, the North Marion Colts faced the Daniella Tigers in the quarterfinals. Winner-take-all survived in advance, and the Colts ended up on top. North Marion, pictured in white, swept Daniella to advance to the district semifinals, where they will face the juggernaut Santa Fe Raiders. That matchup is scheduled for tonight at 7. Taking a look at some of the other district semifinal matchups scheduled for tonight, in the 1A District 6 bracket, Union County will face Bell. Meanwhile, in the 1A District 7 bracket, Newberry will take on Trenton and Chiefland against Dixie County. In the 4A District 5 bracket, Eastside will go against Crystal River, and in the 6A District 4 bracket, Gainesville will play Matanzas. It's always a good time in Gainesville when Florida football is playing well, and sure enough, the team is playing well as they head into the bye week. The Gators currently hold a 5-2 record as they enter their off week, and things are looking quite optimistic for head coach Billy Napier's team. A lot has gone right for the Gators this year. Quarterback Graham Mertz has exceeded expectations, throwing for nearly 1,900 yards while maintaining a 76% completion percentage. On the other side of the ball, the Gators' improved defense has dominated a few games this season in what has been a complete overhaul from years prior. Going into this season, Vegas listed Florida's win total at 5.5, and the Gators are on the verge of eclipsing that with 5 games remaining in the regular season. Taking a look now at Florida's remaining schedule this season, the Gators will return to action when they face Georgia in Jacksonville. After that, they'll host Arkansas and then travel to Baton Rouge to face the LSU Tigers. Florida will then wrap things up with a road game against Missouri and a rivalry week showdown in the Swamp against FSU. That's all for sports. Back to the desk.
And let's get one last check on the weather.
Clear skies this evening, perfect stargazing weather, and a perfect evening to bundle up as those lows are dropping into the mid-40s, but not breaking any records quite yet. For Thursday, rising, and Friday, that chance for some isolated thunderstorms. Then for your weekend, currently seeing those sunny skies and sitting in the 70s. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. BBC World News is next, and the PBS News Hour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WFT.org. Have a great night.